this girl when I was 12 years old. And what I loved so much, she had so much soul. She had. For her, I would've gave my rib. Yeah. But now she show love to guys who will never love her like I did. Damn. She get passed around and treated like a hood bitch. When she was my queen, I'd never exploit her goodness. I used to think I was special and it was not the loot. Now she with whoever got the cash like a prostitute. How can I hate when she out getting wealth? Cause I see things in her she don't see in herself. Don't see it. Her whole being is a movement with intelligence, but she forgot that and started spreading irrelevance. I guess you always did want things your way. Remember when we drove from Sweden to Norway? We talked about love again and again. I go to sleep thinking about you and wake doing the same. That's why I'm feeling now blue, sitting in my cubicle at work thinking about you. She let me go when I thought we was tight, and even though she ain't treat me right, I still love her. Maybe I was dumb, thought she was the one, but when it's all said and done, I still love her. My brother said that it's part of the game. Our relationship's hard to explain. I still love her, even when I shouldn't. Still want her around, no matter what. I'ma always be down. I still love her.
Damn, you know she got me with my heart in her hand. It got my mind running laps, so now I can't even stand. Used to demand was great, but now she stays settling. Her mainstream's being poisoned like heroin. Told her open up and express like the American, but doors closed, so the crossroads will never end. Forever friends, but I thought we had it deeper. Since the first time I heard her rocking on a speaker. Mama said she used a little too much reefer, but I thought the Santiva helped to ease her. Whatever with it, I'm committed to her totally. Worshipping her being like devotees with the rosary. Maybe we could work something out with some diplomacy. Keep the love deep in our hearts like it's supposed to be. Gave her 17 of my years straight and openly. It kinda hurting cause she didn't even notice me.
She let me go when I thought we was tight, and even though she ain't treat me right, I still love her. Maybe I was dumb, thought she was the one, but when it's all said and done, I still love her. My brother said that it's part of the game. Our relationship's hard to explain. I still love her, even when I shouldn't. Still want her around, no matter what. I'ma always be down. I still love her.
Hey yo, it's like a love-hate relationship. She make me mad, but she throw beats to make her wit.
The girl I didn't wanna break up with, natural beauty, lost that with her makeup kit.
She always forced me to come equipped, no BSing. Help me look within another part of my reflection.
She used to like it raw, so I hit it with no protection. Without a condom was common while playing Resurrection.
You say it's destined, the bond we share is unbreakable. Facing hard times, and I hope I can make it through.
But you bipolar and can either be fake or true. You changed my whole life, I was innocent when I came to you.
The scars that you gave me, they hurt but brought sunlight. Cause now I can speak my voice, just need one mic.
So yeah, did she do me wrong or was it done right? Either way for her, I'll take a bullet in a gunfight. She let me go when I thought we was tight, and even though she ain't treat me right, I still love her. Maybe I was dumb, thought she was the one, but when it's all said and done, I still love her.
I still love that girl. I said I still love that girl. I still love that girl. I said I still love that girl. I said I still love that girl. I said I still love that girl. I still love that girl. I said I still love that girl. I still love her.
Welcome to the Cymarshall Law Show, where the heartbeat of creativity pulses strong and the voices of inspiration speak loud. I'm your host, Cymarshall Law, and today we're taking a journey through the life of a man who's not just an artist, but a beacon of the culture and community. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you Venomous2000. For over 2 decades, this lyrical craftsman has been weaving words into wisdom, beats into bridges, and rhymes into revolutions. As Venomous2000, he's graced stages worldwide, leaving footprints across the globe and echoes of his verses in the hearts of many. But the man behind the mic is more than just an international hip-hop sensation. He's a father, shaping the future through the eyes of his 3 children, an educator with over 15 years of teaching experience. I think he has more than that, to be honest. Molding minds with the same passion he puts into his music. When he's not dropping bars or enlightening young minds, you can find him with his hands in the earth, growing food and cultivating life in his garden. His camera lens captures the essence of artists bringing their visions to life through music and videos to tell stories deeper than the surface. Driven by a vision of service and excellence, Venomous founded V2G Multimedia, aiming to uplift and empower the local community through a symphony of services. His art is a contribution, his service is his message, and his life is a testament to the power of giving. So So tune in, y'all, as we explore the layers of a man who embodies the spirit of hip-hop, the dedication of a teacher, and the heart of a community leader. This is Venomous2000, raw, uncut, unfiltered. What up, V?
Yo, Lord, man, that was... Yo, real talk, I might have to sample that introduction. Wow, that was crazy. I was not expecting that, man. Like, I really do appreciate this. Like, so many things are, like, running through my mind right now. Like, we'll get into it.
No, you can talk freely, man. You deserve it. That intro is nothing but the truth, to be fair. You know it's the truth. I know you're a humble guy, but you deserve that.
I appreciate it.
The energy you've put out is what made me do that.
Wow.
So that's just whatever you put out coming back to you, and you also know that.
Listen, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Like, you know, you talked about humility and being humble. Over the years, that's been kind of like, I don't know, it was something that I felt like I was like striving to do, right? But I've noticed in my journey that in me attempting to be humble and wanting other people to recognize me as humble was kind of like doing like an opposite thing of what I had intended it to, you know, do. So recently, you know, I had you know, all of us had like some really, really crazy life changes, like after COVID, before COVID, post-COVID, everything, right? So, I took some time to like really reflect on it because there was an individual, I don't know, I can't recall who it was, but they told me that, you know, being too humble will leave you with nothing.
Might have been me.
Bro, it's real possible, man. But over the years, just, you know, different individuals have, you know, told me that, like, man, listen, you be too nice, and then the same may prove true that, you know, good guys really do finish last. So, I don't know, now it's like I tell people, yeah, you might see me like with all this white on and, you know, it's supposed to be some purity thing in their eyes, but look, there's a whole lot of devilish stuff that still run through this mind on the regular. And this is a way to kind of just forget y'all. It's just to keep that inner beast inside. Right. And I guess the humility thing, like, yeah, I'm humble, but believe me, there's a lot of times where that humility might get pushed to the side. Right. You know, sometimes you gotta, I say you gotta keep a peace to keep some peace.
I love that.
That's that for the 2A community.
Man,
out there,
I love
that. You gotta keep a peace to keep the peace.
You know, I'm the peaceful warrior.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
that's
that phrase.
Bro, that's that. You're me and I'm you. Favorite wrestler, Ultimate Warrior. To this day, man, I got my son. He's 4 years old, getting little, you know, collections and toys, and he's like, Dad, Ultimate Warrior. So,
did you know that was my favorite wrestler too?
Not at all.
That's crazy. I don't even like wrestling like that, but as a kid, I picked him out.
The Ultimate Warrior, man. It's an energy thing. So that might be, well, no, that is the reason why you and I, like, you know, connect on so many different things and stuff, man.
Yeah.
But listen, that same introduction, bro, I would literally do the same thing if I were introducing you.
Thank you.
Because you deserve it too.
Maybe one day you'll have a chance.
No, and that's coming sooner than later, brother, you know? But yeah, go ahead, man.
Yo, so earlier we were talking about, right at the end of our conversation when I was at my son's soccer practice, the last thing we were talking about was evolution. How do you feel you've evolved in the last 10 years? How and why did you?
The last 10 years, that's... Man, you almost got it like exactly down to the birth of my second child. So, with my first child, my oldest daughter, she was born in 05. Prior to her being born, you know, like I had her when we were still in college. Like I had to, my whole goal at that time was just basically like, yo, when I finish this school path and when I get back home, I don't want to go back to the hood. I cannot go back there, even though I know there's nothing lined up for me right now. So my focus, my push in the music and myself and everything was kind of like, as weird as this may sound, I mean, taking care of my children is for me, but you're not really living for yourself, if you understand, because everything I was doing was with her in mind.
Absolutely.
So I was kind of just going along, trying to still figure things out.
Right.
But in the past 10 years, with the birth of my second child, Ciora Bamitale, love you. I kind of like no, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. I kind of like I set this thing where I told my lady, like, yo, before I was playing around, I made some mistakes, learning, growing pains in life. But something changed when she was born. Because I do remember at that time I was working on music with DJ Priority. But we had a disagreement on a lot of life things. So I had just gotten my teaching position, and my daughter was being born. The music thing, we worked on this album. We had the whole pre-legendary status joint complete with some heavy hitters and everything. The time was right. And I just feel like the universe just kind of like stopped it. Almost as if this doesn't need to be your focus now. You still have some grown-up stuff to do.
Right.
And me doing that teaching thing, and then me helping, assisting in the growth and survival of my daughter, because there was some complications and things.
Right.
From there, I just, like the Venomous2000, that hungry beast, and how we used to get into sessions and ciphers like down in New Brunswick and Rutgers. Like, I felt like a change taking place. But more recently, after my mom had congestive heart failure, I had a year to like reflect. I had 3 months off from work to stay home and assist her. And man, I don't know, Lord. It's like something said you gotta like leave all of that stuff behind.
Right.
So the evolution, like, I'm currently in it. Like, this show, this podcast, this interview, this is the first time I'm putting it out there. But the next project, you may not even hear Venomous2000 as my name. It's like that level of evolution with myself right now. So I still appreciate, the V2G. Obviously, it's in the company and some different things. But it's time to step up and do some other work.
Right.
With things. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's been like the progression in a very like condensed sort of like,
It did answer the question. It answered it great. I'm in a similar place, not exactly, but I know Cymarshall Law will exist in the future, but everyone's watching me evolve right in front of their eyes, and it's an internal thing. Like I went and I tried out for a play the other day, and it was just when I found it and I saw it, it was an internal calling. Like I had to explain to the people in this house why I did it. Because I didn't even know. I had to sit down and search for clarity. And the clarity that I found is that even if it's not being a hip hop artist, I was born to create. I'm a born creator. So when I saw it, it was an internal calling saying, like, even if I don't ever get any money out of it, it's just who I am. Like, I just had to create. So I don't know how I got to talking about me, but
no, it's great because listen, this is what the humility part, and you talking about or answering the question by talking about yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, because now it just made me realize, like, this is crazy. You said the play, brother. I swear to you, about a week ago, I was reading a story to my son. And it's a scary scary book, so to speak, but it's teaching a moral lesson. It's an African story, right? Called Abiyoyo. So I tell him the story. He didn't get scared because, the way I kind of like put it together. But once we finished the book, every night he's asking me to reread it and everything. And I'm like, we were scared of monsters when we were young. Right. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Exorcist, and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, from the beginning, I told him there are no monsters.
Right.
The monster's in here.
Right. Right.
So if you think that something out there can scare you, I'm telling you as your father, nothing can scare you. And
Facts.
nothing should scare you.
Facts.
So this book, this story, all of it is just theatrics. But anyhow, with that, I told my family, yo, I want to put together a play. I swear to you. I swear. I said I want to do a play. I already see it. I could say, yo, it's gonna be. I want to put together a play, and then another one of our cohort individuals, Mbaharu, is out in Vegas, and he just, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just finished the run with the show that he put together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, play out in Vegas and everything. He's really doing it. So I'm just saying this, that both of us have a really close brother that we can just call up and we can make this happen. Real talk.
That's dope. I'm definitely gonna take that into consideration.
Yeah. So now don't listen. You talking about yourself is we're reflections of each other, man. Like
Right. Look,
like I told you.
I got my play script right here.
Wow. I didn't. I'll say this. I didn't get a chance to sit down. You saw me pull out my notebook, right?
Yeah.
So I always keep a pen, paper. I know we can type it up, but we're still from that era where I have to write certain things down.
Yeah.
Just so I can have that connection. I guess it's like, going out into the garden and just getting into the earth. Sometimes I just have to do that. I feel like that same connection when I'm writing. But for record keeping and just for time's sake, it is much better to just type it up, y'all.
So talking about connection, I feel like even now, you and I have always had an effortless connection in person as a friendship. Even on the mic, we just bounce off each other naturally. Like I have to, even right now, I have to remember to keep getting back to my questions because me and you would just start chopping it up.
Yeah, I know your
like
audience
naturally.
Like, yo, this is bugging right now.
Nah, hopefully they just take it as a real, genuine conversation.
Yeah.
But why do you think it is that we bounce off each other like that? I think I know. We kind of talked about it just so the listeners know. Why do you think? So
I have this knowingness inside myself. I'm not going with the belief thing because when there's someone genuine. Like we're to the point now, like me being in my 40s and having, children and just having these experiences and traveling the world and connecting, like we pick up on energy. You recognize it. We've probably always had it, but now we're like more alert to it. We're more aware of our awareness of others.
Right.
So when I met you and some of the other brothers, in the New Brunswick scene, it was just like, yo, if this dude was up in Passaic and Patterson with me, Phenom, and Nedick and everybody else, he would have been introduced into the crew.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a family thing that it's like, yeah, I know that energy.
Right.
That's dopeness like me. I recognize it.
Right.
I could recognize another warrior.
Right.
Because he recognizes me. So for myself, that's how I kind of look at it, where the energies, the light are kind of like pulsing in that same rhythm.
Right.
And we just kind of like meshed, and it just was like natural. And then my close people, my brother, he's a really good I call him like Inspector Gadget, man. He just has this thing where he just sees through people, and he's always been like, yo, Law is that dude. So if I trust my brother,
right,
in his judgment,
right.
So I kind of like, he's told me over the past. So that's one of the other things that happened. Going back to the other question, that in the 10 years, he kind of told me about some individuals and some things, but I didn't listen to him prior to until situations kind of like happened.
Right.
And I'm at least humble enough to be like, yo, you know what? You were right. But sometimes even you have to just go out and experience and learn for yourself. But yes, the recognizing of that energy that's the only thing that I could contribute it to, is just that maybe we were brothers or some family in another existence somewhere.
I like what you said about knowing the energy, because that's what it is for me. Because I'm super... I know it might not seem like it because the way I put out content or whatever, what I do, but I'm super private. Like I have like the same 4 or 5 friends since I was like 10 years old. Like I'm very highly guarded and I just won't give people myself. I'm actually a quiet guy. I'm not shy, but I've been a quiet guy. So if you ever catch me just talking to someone and being open, it is a huge signal that my energy connects with them, because I just don't do that. Like I don't do it. So I just always noticed that about you, and I mentioned to you earlier, we might have known each other in a past life because it's a familiar energy, and it always has been. Like I can remember one of our first conversations, which is wild, and it was about the Chosen Few EP that Skit and ID had.
Oh,
but we've been bonding since that day.
Yo, hold on, man, hold up. I don't even know how I got my hands on it. Maybe it was at a show and you gave me a CD. Back when we were writing our names on it or something,
Nope,
but I knew it beforehand.
Right,
so that means
right.
it had to have been Bobito, Stretch and Bobito. I heard it on.
Right, because you said to me that was one of my favorite joints. And there's a lot of joints Science Life and Skit Slam had put out. So for you to say that joint that wasn't even out on anything, that's why I stopped what I was doing and looked at you like, yo, that's my favorite joint specifically.
So now with you saying that, right, recognizing the energy, and just me relating it to the music thing, like when Phenom heard that, Thursday nights, what we were doing.
Yeah.
We got the tape joint ready, and then they would play things, and then sometimes you just wouldn't know, like, who's that artist. Then you have to listen to the whole conversation before they do the rundown.
Right.
And sometimes they would even skip it because they're getting into jokes and all this other stuff. So I heard that joint, like, and I was like, yo, I know I've heard of Science is a Life, but I didn't know Skits.
Right.
I didn't know the Ever Living Sound. I just didn't know. But I say, yo, if he's a part of that crew, if they're a part of that crew, bruh. Yo, I was like, yo, that's one of those joints. Like I told you, like the other joint is that trust. Yo, that's my joint.
I gotta find that joint.
Trust. Yo,
oh man.
I might have to call on y'all to do a hook like that for me, yo, because I want to put that in something. I swear to you, man, that is an amazing song. I just felt like Science is a Life, Ever Living Sound, The Formulas, Unstoppable Unity. Like just imagine if we came together like woo. Now, real talk, like yo, Lord, like I'm K Banger. Just think about if. Like what we have right here, right, was in place. And then we also had that luxury, well, not even luxury, just the time and energy to really be able to work on something collectively instead of doing the individual things that we did. I kind of see like the vision that either the RZA, Jizza, it doesn't even matter who was the head like that, but just that idea of, yo, if we come together and do it, we can kick in the door with more force.
Yo, I don't even know how to say that's what I've actually always wanted, and I don't know why.
You never said it?
No, I don't know why it hasn't happened. I don't know why.
Can we ask something?
Go ahead.
You know what? It reminds me of like, why is it that the Jersey Five, me, you, L, Science is a Life, recorded just in the session, like really dope joints. And like, what happened to the energy to keep it going? Because I'm quite sure a whole lot of people would love to hear that project.
I'm still up for it now, but I don't know, V. I sometimes, I used to like ask the Most High why, because I always, like you even spoke earlier about, my brother losing, and you kind of realizing one day, or me losing my brother to him getting deported, and you kind of realized one day that I probably go through that shit mentally all the time, and I still to this day. So I always wanted to be back in a group, but my brother was in England, and it was like just me down here, and then Pumpkinhead was
he felt that kind of like, I want to say a void, but he stepped in as big bruh.
He did, but not all the way, because he had like, he has like 10 different crews.
Yes.
So, and then sometimes those crews they're fond of Pumpkinhead, but I don't want to say they're not fond of me, but that's their brother.
Yes.
So I never really got brought into his other crews.
Would you say that you kind of like would be considered the outsider?
Absolutely.
And then being from Jersey, which I always still build with my New York MCs. I say, I don't care what they say, and I got a whole bunch of people from New York, but that Jersey, New York thing is still semi there.
Yeah, and I'm definitely the outsider, but I never ever wanted to be. That it's still confusing to me to this day, because like I said to you earlier, and not to toot my own horn, but I know I have a big, nice, good heart. I know I do, and I've always wanted to make joints with people. I've reached out to every artist you can think of, and I be thinking like, how come a lot of these artists don't be reaching back out to me? Like, I had to stop and think like, am I actually good at what I do? Like. And then like, nah, bro, you be bodying these joints. Yo. Like, what's good? What's going on? And I'm thinking about all the artists that's behind me on the wall right now. So I just be like, I'm like, Lord, what? Like, I. But at this point, which kind of brings me to my next question, which was, we spoke about taking things personally earlier, and what was your perspective on that? But I think that had been one of my issues for a long, long time. I was taking things personally. When I didn't have the right to be, and that was immaturity, and that's where I'm at now. Like, I would look at artists that and be like, yo, why is, and like have an inside attitude with, I'm being completely honest, and just be thinking like, why aren't you help bringing me on tour? Why aren't you asking me to join? Why? But, you know, in my 40s now, I realized that whatever they were doing literally had nothing to do with me. Like, it took me to my 40s to realize like, I'm having attitudes with people that they really just, even if I told, this is a good way to talk about it, taking things personally. So I don't want to get too far off what I'm talking about, but I was telling one of my sons the other day, when someone has a good attitude or when they have a bad attitude and they give it to you, it's up to you whether you take it or not. So like, let's say I'm in a good mood and my son comes downstairs and he has a bad attitude. If I take that and then continue the rest of my day with a bad attitude, I've taken something that was personal to him, and it can go both ways. He can come downstairs with a good attitude, and I can also take that good attitude from him. But what I understood is that I have to maintain me, because what he's saying or doing, really, that's how he feels, and that goes all across the board. So, you know, I was looking at cats kind of just being like, why are they hating on me? But a lot of times, they probably weren't thinking about me.
Just not thinking about you. But is it wrong for someone? Like, all right, in the sense of, we were having the conversation earlier, right? And you were like, yo, we probably haven't talked on the phone extensively in like months.
Right.
But us getting on the phone, we pick right up. Like, we're not thinking about time.
Right. Right.
It's because like, yo, when we get together is when we get together. So it sounds like you've struggled, because I've struggled with that same thing, and taking things personal when the same extension that I put out isn't like giving back.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then I just realized like, wait a minute, Law's not reaching out to me on a regular. I don't reach out to him on a regular, but every once in a while he crosses my mind, or I'll see him pop up and I'm like, boom. But then we just make it a thing where you still show respect from afar.
Right.
Like, yo, I see you, V.
Right.
Yo, Lo, I see you.
Right.
Maybe the only difference is that maybe those other individuals, that connection isn't happening the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe the time for them to reach out isn't 6 months like us.
Right.
It might be 2 years.
Right.
But the love is still there. So it is absolutely an internal thing from us.
Right.
That, I went through that same thing with like I went through that same thing. And these are my brothers. And I think I've spoken the idea about it, but I would get into a conversation with him about it, and John Robertson as well. But, you know, with Sciences of Life, like, I know those brothers treat me as crew.
Right.
But like, I felt like the same way, like the little brother, like, yo, I want to be down.
Right.
Like, I grew up listening to these dudes. That album in 2000, when I got it at college, bro, that joint carried me for a couple years.
Right.
Like, it carried me.
Right.
Because we didn't have the internet and access to a lot of dope stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't just turn on the radio and listen to Stretch and Bobito from down in New Brunswick like that. Maybe I could have, but I wasn't.
Right.
Because I was caught up. But for whatever reason, right, that and a couple other joints just was there. And then when I met them around the same time that I met you, I'm like, yo, I'm nice enough to rock with these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same with the Deadly Snakes with my cousin when they were signed to Tommy Boy and they were doing their thing. And this was like 96. We'll get into the whole Venomous2000, but you see like the Deadly Snake, because I wanted to be, the name was the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a snake. And my cousin was like, yo, it's just not meant for you in that capacity.
Right.
But you being exposed to it, you're still around it.
Right.
I have albums that no one has ever heard, and projects. You know what I mean? With Deadly Snakes and Wanye Morris from Boys to Men, like they were working. And these dudes were doing stuff with Wu, so that energy, I feel like it was more like just training grounds to kind of like just listen, absorb, study, listen, absorb, study, and just sharpen up our own stuff from afar. And then now it's like, not dissing anyone, but just like, yo, I still appreciate y'all for not reaching out.
Yo, for sure.
Because it made me go deeper within myself to build up that confidence. So now when we step on stage or do anything together, like, this is what we are. It's that equality thing. So I don't know if that really like...
It does. And to extend on that, I also, back in the day, I used to feel like I deserved props from people for doing things. And when they wouldn't give it to me, I kind of was like an attitude, because whatever they did, I was supporting and showing them. So when I did something that I knew was dope, and I'm like, I know these dudes see it, and I would have an attitude. But you know what? Nowadays that I'm an older MC, I see younger cats doing the same thing to me. Like if I might show someone some love for a joint or a song or whatever, and then I see like if I don't consistently always like every post, I noticed like I'm sensing an attitude off of them, and I'm like, well, damn.
So you see how it just went like
full circle.
And it's them that they need to understand that this is life.
Right.
People have lives.
Right.
You're not going to be in the forefront of everybody's thoughts all the time, and you don't have to take it personal. So I wrote this name. It was one of my first spiritual teachers that I met out in Brooklyn in 2003. He would always tell us that there are no problems in life. Period.
Right.
There are a bunch of situations that happen.
Right.
But you don't have to make those situations into problems unless you choose to.
Facts.
So there are no problems.
Right.
But there are infinite situations. And how do you can choose. How do you want to respond to it?
React?
That person comes in here, even if somebody comes in here and, culturally it would be disrespectful for somebody to just come and spit in your face.
How do you react?
But you really don't. How did those brothers back during the civil rights like sit at those counters and have all of that stuff thrown and cracked them? And so just imagine the reserve.
So check it out. I feel like what you're saying is that a lot of times me, you, whoever, when we respond to certain things, let's say negative things, a lot of the responses are learned responses. They're not even like real responses. It's like someone spits in your face, and you have to be mad. Now that's an extreme one. I'm gonna be mad probably still.
Listen,
I mean.
I will be but all of the people, the adults, the cats on the block that always say, yo, the worst thing you could do to someone is say this or do this to them. So that plays in my mind.
Right. Like you got to get them back.
So you better get them back.
Right.
But you know what that is talking? That's ego.
That's ego. Not only is it ego, but when you put that energy out, it's coming back. It's coming back for your ass.
No. And so it's you're right about it. So it's like, if I don't respond, individuals that may see it, and maybe it'll go viral. You know what this makes me think about? How people get embarrassed, right? Like I watch videos, like I really do try not to, man. Like I listen, I like comedy, right? Mm-hmm. We grew up cracking jokes all on the block. There was some millionaire comedians that never made it out the hood, so to speak. Like everybody knows somebody that was just funny as hell that would just do what they do. So you had to kind of like develop thick skin and be able to snap back. Maybe you can't snap like the best,
right?
But now we're in our 40s. These youngins, the kids in school and stuff, they're not as witty as us. Mm-mm. So it's really easy to put someone down.
Easy.
Right? So it made me think about like that embarrassment that a person may feel if someone sees that you know that nasty ass glob of spit hits them. Like, it's funny to think about it. It is disrespectful and all of that. But are you warrior enough to live with somebody else thinking something about you?
Right.
But you internally know, like, bro, I could probably take this person out if I respond. Right. And is that act that they just did worth it? I know it is disrespectful. And I know what their intentions are, which was to completely trigger me.
Right.
But when you really break it down, Law, it's as disrespectful and nasty as it is. It's just, I'm still alive. I can wipe this off. Bring all that in and just...
Right. And not only that, when you react in a negative way, I feel like now you're carrying the energy of anger, and then the universe sees that anger and he's like, oh, that's what you want? I'm going to give you more of that.
More of it.
I'm going to give you more of that. So you have to choose the way you respond, because, you know, if I take everything personally and, you know, even if I'm holding a grudge, the universe is seeing my energy and he's like, oh, you mad about that? I'm just going to keep giving you more things to have a grudge about.
So there was a movie that just popped up again because I love the movie, but I saw it like either this morning or sometime yesterday when I opened up my phone, Falling Down. I think Michael Douglas. It's the movie with Michael Douglas when he's the, I guess he just has like a business job and he's just trying to make it home.
Everything falls apart for him, right?
Everything. Yeah. It's like, but he's, even as those things are like pushing against him, he's still remaining as humble as he can.
Yeah.
Until that last situation pushes him over. So now, when I used to watch that movie when I was young, I'm not gonna front, it's just a regular crazy ass white dude. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, this is what, now he's shooting up, he's crazy.
Right.
But then I say, this man was really just trying to do everything in his power to make up for whatever mistakes he made and to be with his daughter, even though the baby mother wasn't, or his ex-wife, whatever. And all of this stuff, how many spits in the face can you really sit down and take without responding?
Right.
It's kind of like what I now take from that movie. I know it's the system in its entirety that kind of like weighed down on him, man, but that's a part of the programming too. The programming is that this happens, you're supposed to respond this way. Right. I feel like in the 10 years, I've been working to just shut off certain nodes and deprogram and reroute. Right. Doing my AI work internally.
Yeah. So my thing, one of my cousins came in my Instagram inbox. It was yesterday or the day before. and they said, I really love this new you. And I was like, can you, I was like, explain, what do you be specific so I know how to keep it up. And the first thing they said, they were just like, you're just lighter. You're just, everything about you is just lighter.
Even time. Like, as we're saying that, as this, as that goes off. But like, I had to really, really, yo, listen, you kind of inspired me. You kind of inspired me to consider taking some time off for mental health. Which we had this conversation a while ago. Like, I think it was like around COVID time and things. But when that situation happened with my mom, about a month afterwards, once she was good, when they did, the procedures and she got back and she finally got out, she was in there for a month. And during that time, I was just literally living for her. Where I don't even remember like taking my kids to do things, but I had to have been doing it because but all I could now recall is just that month of time where I'm doing research. I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not dumb. I just know that the only thing that separates me from those doctors is that they had a longer period of time to look at these books. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So with that, I say, yo, I gotta step in because these horror stories about individuals going into the hospitals, which you may personally know some people that went into the hospital for this and just never made it out. That is a real thing that happens.
Shout out to Pumpkinhead.
Exactly. That's a real thing that happens.
Yeah.
So with that, I said I have to be there to make sure that these people stay on top of my mom because situation happened with my grandfather, situation happened with my grandmother, and I'm not letting her go through this. So I put so much time and energy for that month into her. When she was home, I was ready to go back to work. And you kind of like popped in my head. And then I looked at myself and I said, yo, I'm tired. I'm tired. So my lady was like, hey, look, it's mental health. Take some time for yourself. So I had a talk with my principal. He said, look, don't die on the job.
That's a profound lesson.
Listen, don't die on the job. You, your health, your family come first. That's why we have all these other procedures in place and other protocols in place to kind of like help out with situations like this. So I extended my leave of absence. And man, within those 2 months of time is where that inbox that you got from your cousin, that same sort of a change in, I call it upgrading, started to build up. And like really, because I was able to really say, what do I want to do with my life? And I've never had that amount of time to truly think about it because I've been working since I was 12 years old. I never had a break working for other people, having a job, going to school, having children, doing music, touring. I never had a break for myself.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to take this before life happens and sits you down.
Right. What would you say is your secret to maintaining the balance between your personal life now and the demands of everything else you want to do?
I wouldn't even say it's a secret, but I've said to myself what I want and how I want to live is exactly what I do when I'm home and how I talk and behave and teach and go through things at home. I want to do the same thing in my workspace because there's no separation of me. This is not an act in the sense of the way I communicate with my peers at work. It's the same way that I would connect with my peers outside of work.
Right.
So why do I have to act a certain way here or there? The way you see me with the same clothing on, with the same hat, I walk in my building like this.
Right.
And I wish someone would say something to me.
Right. I love it.
So the secret is I'm just now. Look, I had an experience out in Europe with my man Poet and my brother, and it was some really like next level experience, right? And after that experience, I remember Poet saying to me like, "Yo, why aren't you like that all the time?"
You gotta talk about the experience so we know what that is.
That's a whole nother conversation. We'll not real talk. We'll build afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's that level. But
Yeah.
we'll connect on that. And I told him like, I'm afraid of what other people are going to think about me.
Man, I understand completely. So to not take you, but how I've been going on recently, I'm going on like that because I'm not afraid anymore. Like I don't care what you think. Everyone that I used to think in my head was ignoring me. I'm like, why do I even care what y'all think?
They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about me.
And I thought, like, even with me, you see me on the internet, I'm positive all the time. And that I listen to all types of music, and it might be gangsta, hardcore, and I'm friends with some of these artists. So sometimes I used to think while I'm being that positive, I'm like, damn, it's so-and-so over there thinking I'm corny, but you know what? I don't care. Not only do I don't care so much because I'm so in tune with who I am. Like,
you're comfortable.
Yes,
You're
I am a loving guy. I am positive. This is my lane.
And the fact that, number one, you're not here to please anyone.
Right.
And then the second thing is you're not going to please everybody.
Absolutely not. No matter what.
So out of those, what I say, I want to set my life up where, I think me, you, Silent Night. Shout out to Silent Night. I see what he's doing. I got to reach out to that dude one day, man. Like I see what Knight is doing, and I always looked up to that brother too. But I remember we've had like talks at shows, and then the saying, I don't know who was the first to say it, me, him, you, or whatever, but we get on the mic and we say, look, we got a rule that we follow. 5, 50, 500, 5,000. So if there's 5,000 people at the show, we're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 5 people at the show, we're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
That is just what we do. So that being you, regardless of who's observing, watching, is the mentality that, bro, that experience took place in 2012, and it's 2024. What's 2023? Mm-hmm. COVID and the push of some other circumstances and things is really what made me just kind of like, yo, enough.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take all this other stuff off, and let me just, as your cousin put it, I lightened myself literally to the point where, I don't know if you know this or not, Laura, but I'm a year and 2 months into just wearing all white.
I didn't notice.
A year and 2 months. And originally I just didn't even think I would be able to get through 30 days. Now I can, as crazy as this sounds, I can like hear the sounds of color on me if I'm wearing it, like I'm too loud.
Man, I love the thought of that, the idea of that. Maybe you can explain this for me, and you probably can, because I have a feeling there's a connection. But when I pray and then meditate, and I'm trying to send good vibrations and good energies to people, I don't know which book I learned it out of. And I know, knowing me, I read it somewhere and it just stuck with me. When I think about, like, let's say I'm thinking about my brother and I want to make sure he's doing good, I picture him with a white light around his body, like a whole white light around his body. Does that in any way connect to you always wearing white, or not really?
The aura thing, you did say you see like you envision him having like an aura.
Him or just anyone I'm trying to send
or anyone that
to.
you're sending vibes to. So let me ask you, like, the concentration of that aura, is it like a full body, or is it like over the head, like halo? You know what I mean? Like
full body. I'm trying to infuse his body with
it's like
the
a shield.
cosmic
You're
essence.
Putting a shield. So yeah, it makes me think about There's another group of individuals, man, which I've never met these brothers, but that one album that the Lost Children of Babylon put out, I think it's called the Equividium. It's the one with the I think it's the person sitting like in the lotus position, and it's just like matrix energy all around them. And then I believe you can also see like the aura sphere, like kind of like surrounding them, and just that person is sitting there like a light being. So from my studies and my experience in dealing with the Yoruba culture and religion, Obatala is the Orisha, or the deity that for us would be the highest achieving like level of consciousness, right? To tap into something that they call your Ori, which is your head, but not this head. It's the head that is connected to whatever existence is out there that you are a part of.
Right.
So in life, the number one teaching is that we've all come here to cultivate something called Iwapwele, which translates to cool, calm character, humility, being humble.
Right.
So Obatala is supposed to represent like the epitome of the coolest energy, because in their belief, he when he was molding humans, he was sipping a little bit too much, like chilling, and he messed up and deformed people. And this is, the way they teach the principle and concept, just like Greek mythology, Roman mythology. The stories are not 100% for you to get what they're saying, but it's the point. Like, when we're being creative, we've been in studio sessions where cats were too out of their minds to even be able to create.
Right.
So the idea of that is to be very careful how you are walking through this, and try your best to keep the white cloth, which is your Ori, which is that light that you're putting around your brother. This is I'm saying these things like this is the connection that I see and I feel from what you're saying.
I love the answer. I gotta give it up for that one.
Yeah, so absolutely, man. I think all of us could use some protection from others. Is just listen, just having a thought. Listen, I wish that person well, be safe. Oh, that's all you can do, though.
Right. So how do you? I'm skipping questions. I'm moving all over.
Bro, listen. Like I said, man, this is. Hey, look, we're just talking, man. That's it.
And we're already bodied the hour.
Bro, we could keep going. It's up to you.
I want to make sure I capture everything. So before I forget, because I didn't even have a question about this, can you kind of talk a little bit about your journey being a gardener, and like why you started that journey, and like what other people might be able to get out of that journey?
So now thinking about it, the journey started back like in my grandmother's backyard in Willenboro, when I would come down for like the summers and things, and I was always scared of bugs. Like listen, I grew up in the city, little small town, and aside from mice, roaches, bees, flies, like maybe every once in a while a spider, like we didn't see these same bugs like when you out in the garden, and she would make us, because my hands were smaller, to go get down and pull the weeds up that she was maybe getting a little too old to like reach down, and you get a better grip on it, is what she would always say. So she would pay me. This is my grandmother. She would, and the way she paid me was she would give me some bread, $10, but it went a long way back then.
Yeah.
And then she would bring me to the thrift store and give me something to eat. What's that spot? Ponderosa, I think that's what it was called.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that. So she would do that. So over the course of time, man, like I always had it in my mind, like, yeah, I like plants and things. I want to get into it, but it just wasn't a thing. Like I didn't see anyone aside from like maybe my grandmother or my aunts that had like a house plant. My mother didn't keep plants. I think she's allergic to like roses and a couple others, so she just never really tested it like that. So the real like inspiration, it came from my grandmother, but it sparked up again when I purchased my first home. And when I had my, my yard in the back, I'm looking like this is cool at my kids, but I said, yeah, I want to see if I could, grow some things or whatever. So I started out in like little pots and everything, watched a couple videos and just tested it out. And then when I got some results, like I had forgotten that I had a watermelon seed or something that was planted, or I think one of my nieces put a watermelon seed in the pot. So, the whole summer just kind of like went by and I just didn't know what it was until one day, I think I might have been on tour, and they told me, it's like, yo, it's a watermelon that's growing back there. So when I came home, right, I'm looking like, oh, it was a small little watermelon. It must have just gotten enough energy in that pot to just grow to that size. But I'm like, is it going to be good enough to eat? So once I took it off, brought it upstairs. Needless to say, these jokers ate the watermelon. I didn't even get a chance to eat. Bro, first time growing a watermelon, they eat it. But it's all good. In that moment, I said, all right, next year, I want to do something like a little bigger. So then I put up like 2 raised beds, and then I still had the pots, had success with that. And I said, I want to go bigger. So then the 2 ended up turning into 8. And then, me bringing in the rainwater and capturing the rainwater, and then me trying to, get into like solar energy and trying to set up some timer system so I could just have it like automatic. And I said, I can do it, but I still just don't know enough. It's a lot of things like that solar energy. Like, listen, that's electricity. If you don't know what you're doing, you could kill yourself. 800 watts of solar energy. I was trying to, or do this DIY, like, and literally set up my garage, and I had the timer, had all the stuff. I ran radio and a couple of other things, ran my water pump that would take the water from the rain barrels, the 55 gallons. I had 4 of them, and I was just using that water during the times when it wasn't raining instead of using my hose and paying these people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a lot, and I did it, and I had success. I found out ways to get the free mulch by, calling up the tree companies, and they'll be like, yeah, we'll bring you some wood chips, but, bro, we got like 3 cubic yards, and I'm like, in my okay, I know math, but like, okay, I don't know exactly what that would look like on my property until I had it delivered, and man, it was a truckload that took 3 years to kind of like to do away with. So
wow.
So basically every season what would happen, like, yo, mind you, I'm doing this in the inner city. This is an urban area, where I got wheelbarrows and taking wood chips and bringing it around. And I know my neighbors probably thought I was crazy, but I did all of this to just say, like, I knew I could do it. I know I could grow food, buckets of food, giving it out to neighbors. Some people were like, yo, you could sell things. I said, man, this is food. I'm not trying to sell it in this, like, nickel and dime in it. Like, if we gonna grow it and do some selling, it's gotta be some next level stuff,
right?
That, in my head, because I tried garage selling. Like, yeah, that's not for me. I'll go support a garage sale, but for me to sit out there in front of, I don't want to do that. So the same thing with the plants and bringing them. So that got me into trying to create that automatic system, and then I really came across like hydroponics, and then the hydroponics. Man, that's right now, that is my passion, where I'm trying to create a system and work on some new things that could basically like really, really give that early, what do you call it? The exposure to kids in the inner city, to show them like, yo, bro, even if you're just growing your own basil in your house, bro, that's empowerment.
Right.
And if you can do it on this small scale, you can do it on a larger scale.
Right.
what they're doing like in Singapore, because my friend lives out there, and I believe like is upwards to maybe about 60 to 70% of the food that they have in Singapore is imported, which means that there's no land space to really grow. So
Right.
what they're doing is they're bringing these gardens and hydroponic systems to the rooftops, and they're growing food that way.
Wow.
Because just think about it. What if the imports are cut off and y'all hit? You don't have any food.
Right.
So I found one of my rhyme notebooks back when we were doing music, you know what I mean, in New Brunswick. It was like 03, 02, something like that. And in it, I read like one of the words that I said was, or one of the statements is that I have no idea why I said it. I wasn't even thinking about hydroponics then, but I said hydroponics will be the future of food. I wasn't even growing things back then. It made me think of Michael Jackson. Because I know you're a big Michael Jackson fan. I know you're a big Bruce Lee fan.
Yeah, for sure.
We have similar heroes, right?
Yeah.
Or inspirations, pardon. So, in one of Michael Jackson's conversations or interviews, he says something along the lines that he can't take credit. This is Michael Jackson saying he can't take credit for the words and the songs that come to him because it comes from something else. It's like he's tapping into, Black Thought said, the stream of thought. We're all just connected to it. It's just you have your moments where you can focus enough to draw in what you draw in. So I feel like what I drew in those 20 plus years ago to write something that I wasn't even involved in, it was just the time to kind of like show your future self. I say this a lot now, like what your cousins see, that's future law.
I love it.
Law is here, but that's future law. So the hydroponics, the growing, all of this stuff, I'm gonna give the credit to my grandmother who planted the seed, who's no longer here, but
Word.
she's here.
Shout out to Venomous's grandmother.
Yes, thank you, sir.
No doubt. Yo, being a teacher, what do you think is the hardest lesson, the hardest thing about teaching, and what is the biggest lesson you've learned from teaching?
You said the most challenging, and then the biggest lesson?
The hardest thing about teaching,
sorry.
but then, and also the biggest lesson.
I think that they're like intertwined with each other.
Okay.
And what I think is the most challenging.
Wait, what grades do you teach?
6th and 7th.
Okay, go ahead. Do that for my listeners.
So the most challenging and the biggest lesson would be patience. Patience in myself, and then understanding that what these kids do that may get under people's skin and bother us and have a disconnect from learning, like if I had the same things that they were exposed to when I was their age, bruh, it would have been worse. It would have been worse. My brother was playing. We went out, man. We just been kind of like gathering some childhood things that, you know, we're using for business, but also for like entertainment. So he went out and bought a Nintendo, right? So I came to check him, and he's playing Tecmo Bowl 91.
Hard.
On a 52-inch screen, 55-inch screen. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, yo, imagine if we had God of War when we were that age.
Yikes.
Just think about it.
Yeah, it's a madness.
Yo, imagine if we had the internet where we can type in anything when we were that age.
A madness.
So I can't blame them because it's part of a system that they don't control and they're not aware of. Look, it took us 40 years to become aware of it. So the only thing that I feel like I can do, which is a very difficult thing to do, is to show them how to be humble.
Right. I feel
It's
that.
the most difficult thing to teach. It's the most difficult thing to teach. Because everything that they are exposed to is having them to be like react to things,
Right.
which humility and that control of your ego, that's the last thing that we do, is to like react. We try to like avoid situations, be cool, be calm, try to work things out. The peaceful warrior. So I'm trying to teach my young students to be peaceful warriors. I never tell them like, look, I'm not telling you not to fight, because I train to fight. I train with weapons, but I'm not going around here talking about it, and I'm not bringing it to people.
Right.
I have my concealed carry in New Jersey, which has been an absolute. Listen, that alone, to say that, yeah, I got a concealed carry license for the state of New Jersey. That's a big deal. But no one would know, because that's not the energy that I'm trying to bring with me every day. But that's the peace that I keep in my home to protect my peace at home.
That phrase again.
So if someone comes within my border that I got a gate up, I got double doors locked and all this, if you get through these barriers, then that next thing that's waiting for you ain't my problem.
Excuse me, I love that answer too.
So I don't know if that quite answered what you were asking. It just goes back to that concept of Iwa Puele, man. That's I don't talk about the religion with them, but humility and the Gentoo character is what I just tell them. Look, if you do that, you would probably avoid a lot of stuff, because you got a lot of good qualities. But that thing and those people you are around are going to continuously trap you in situations, and it's going to bring you out of character. And like you said, that karma, the universe is going to say, oh, this is how you want to react. You're going to get a whole lot more of it.
Yo, did you pronounce it Iwa Pele?
So it's like Pele Pele, but the P sound in that E is like pue, like puele.
Say it one more time.
Iwa Puele.
Iwa Puele.
There you go.
Where can people learn more about Iwa Puele?
This is gonna sound like a generic answer, but yo, type it in Google. Right.
Spell it for them at least.
IWA -PELE.
Word. One more time.
IWA Iwa and then -PELE. So you can look that up, and there's a book that deals with a lot of the mythological stories that kind of like go along with Obatala, who again is the Orisha that kind of like defines this Iwa Puele of Gentoo character, and in him being symbolic of being like the ultimate warrior that sits at the top of the mountain. He's the Paime.
Gotcha.
You understand?
Yeah.
But listen, we'll build about that another time. But that's the idea behind it, where you're so advanced as a warrior that there's no need to fight. And a lot of the things that you're around and exposed to, like, not to say you're better than that, it's just I no longer have an interest in these things. So if you want to find me, I'll be in my mountain. I'll be in my studio.
Right.
I'll be in my man cave. I'll be here creating. I'm not withering away. I'm still training. I'm still reading. I'm still doing these things. But I feel like I would be able to serve people once I do interact with them a lot better if I'm able to just focus on me instead of getting caught up on everybody else out here.
Right. Or any negative energies. Like, I'm not responding to no negative energies anymore.
So can I ask you a question on this? Being that you just said that.
Yeah. Go for it.
So with the negative responses, right, when it comes to, I was just reading something about, I didn't know this, but, because I toured with Talib Kweli, right? And when I read something about him being banned from X or one of these platforms or something like that. I don't know if it's true or not, but going to the negative comments, right? Like, not everyone is going to appreciate, like, or even care for what you're doing now and who you are and the direction you are taking yourself to, right? How do you respond to those comments and those things if you ever do find them, or when they do arrive on your posts, on your videos, or whatever the case may be?
Nowadays, I respond with kindness. Usually in my response, I kind of end up being friends with the person because they don't expect me to come back like that. But that's only within the last year, I would say, because I had to scorcher someone about.
I was gonna say you had that.
Yo, but that I'm not even sure which one you're talking about because I've been known for scorching people who come on my timeline.
No, not that. It was the way that you would just look, and I was like, oh yeah, that means he's thinking back. That means he let some folk have it.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like in the past, if someone said something, you would just be like, oh.
So in the past, if you were bold enough, it's two different ways. So if you're bold enough to like come on my timeline and talk shit about me, if I knew you personally, I did take offense to that. But really, I'm talking about really one specific instance that happened recently. Like, I didn't appreciate it because I knew this person, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that because we knew each other. Like,
that's like a phone call, text message type thing, or
not
just
even.
Not
we
even.
went to like elementary and middle school, and even high school together. And like he had said I was trash, but he said it where like all our classmates. And I don't mind that he thought I was trash, but like you were trying to gain some attention because first of all, you don't even think that because back in the day, you've told me you thought I was an LMC. So you were just trying to gain some attention. But I responded to him and I tore this dude up online. Like everyone saw it. Like I cut him up.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I was like, damn, man, why did I even let him bring me down there? But that was about 6 months. No, it wasn't that long ago. It was about 3 months ago. But even after that, I've thought about it. Like, and I'm trying to get to this place where I am a new law. So I know that it's going to happen again. Like the more popular I get or the more bigger I get, I know more people are going to say good things and more people are going to say bad things. So I know it's coming. So in order for me to get to the next level, I know I have to show the universe that I know how to deal with that because there's no way I'm going to be able to deal with it. There's no way I can't deal with it on a small level where it's just like, you know, some people making some small comments and then I get all this notoriety and fame and it's going to be happening even more. So the universe is looking at me like, yo, if you can't handle this, I'm probably not going to be able to give you this because you're going to explode. So now I'm just training my brain to whoever says anything, like my response can't be for like, even recently, I've seen people like watching what I'm doing and like taking little indirect shots, but I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
Bro, every time I look at it, I'm like, this is me. I'm looking like, yeah, I got to put some more time in. Lord, busy over there. He doing this. We're doing the same kinds of things because we're similar. But I'm like, all right. I get inspired. It's like, yo, V, I want you to be on the track. All right, cool. You send the verse. I'm like, oh, all right. It inspires me.
But a lot of times people take you doing things as something you're doing to them. Like if I'm going in for myself, they look at it as if you're trying to make them look bad. They start projecting that shit on you. And because I'm shining my light never meant that you can't shine your own. I've been saying that since day one. And I feel like when you're doing a lot, you have my favorite quote, is that up on the wall, is Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. And in that poem, she says, sometimes when you're shining your light, others feel inferior and insecure, but that has more to do with them. And I'm just becoming more aware of that. Like even when I feel like I'm getting bad energy from somewhere, like just not feeding into it. So now the new law that my cousin was talking about, it doesn't feed into that. Like I'm not going to be arguing. And I'm not saying what, Kweli was doing bad because my man be going in with everyone online.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
To each his own, like that's just not who I can be because I feel like when I do get into that phase of like debating or arguing with someone, I have a sharp tongue. And I can hurt people, and I don't believe that I can hurt someone without the energy coming back to me. So if I don't want to say if you forced me, but if we're in a place where we're arguing and I'm saying hurtful things to you, even if you've done something to me, I understand now that even if I feel justified in defending myself, I didn't have to take my sword out and slit my man's throat. And I understand that that's coming back for me now. So I've been a lot lighter nowadays by not having to respond in the way that, like matching energy. Like I'm not doing that no more.
Yes.
Like I'm not doing that no more.
Unless it's energy that's
right.
that
this
you
is
feel
positive.
like, oh, this is lifting me up. This is lifting me up. But yeah, it's like this this idea and concept where it's like even family, and that's family in my house, my kids, whoever. Listen, if you're not bringing me peace when I'm in my peaceful state, I have no problem turning my back, walking away, and giving myself the peace. If you're not going to allow me to have that here, like in the middle of talking, having a conversation, argument, whatever, and then I realize like this ain't going anywhere, I would take my plate, my cup, and just walk out.
Yeah, so I'm there more than ever recently. It's a meme I keep seeing is that people find themselves bothered when you're unbothered. That's what I've been noticing. Like I'm unbothered. Like I don't care if y'all are hating. I don't care if you. I don't give a shit.
Because that thing is always gonna be there. Like
right.
you said, the more and the more you shine, and the more notoriety that you get from others, it's going to be even more people.
Yeah.
But I'm not here for those people. But in a sense, I am here for those people because I'm not saying I'm the sole example or you're the sole example or whatever the case may be. But one day, the thing that they're doing to us or that they feel they're doing to us or whatever, that law is going to come back and hit them. And then they're going to realize, oh,
right.
This is where it came from.
Right.
So,
right.
Because I may have been directly or indirectly that person at a time in a situation or whatever, but I've always, at least I've always thought that if I'm leaving comments and I'm saying things about people, like even if it's something that I'm really not feeling, I just try to keep it like, I'm not trying to like bring this person down. I ain't trying to crush anyone's spirit, so to speak.
I heard this great quote the other day, and it went like this. I'm probably not gonna say it perfectly, but it said, "If you have impure thoughts or act impure, trouble is destined to follow, as the wheel follows the ox that draws the cart."
So I'm taking that as that's definitely that sounds like, I could be wrong, but that sounds like that came from the Tao.
You know what? I don't know where it came from. I know where I learned it from. I was watching a YouTube video. Sometimes I listen to these positive affirmations on YouTube. I just listen to them. And a guy said it like right before he started.
Or some Confucianism. Either way, you can tell me what exactly your interpretation of that is. But for me, it's like, you know what that means? Like, I have, in a day's time, some wild stuff that sometimes crosses my mind. And I'm like, man, that stuff, it's like, yo, that stuff's still there. You know, it's like an annoyance. Like, I wasn't even trying to think about that. Or like situations, you know, that may bring up some old stuff. Like, I got this thing, 20 minutes, right, is where I'm at. Or I'm trying to get to 20 minutes as being the time that I intentionally, and I recognize, oh, I'm out of it. So it is like 20 minutes for the most part. If there's something that gets under my skin and bothers me and disrupts me, right? Which it could be family, it could be the job, it could be whatever. But I say, yo, that thing, that situation is only worth 20 minutes tops of my time. I shouldn't be bringing that into the next day. I shouldn't be bringing that into the next week, because that moment of whatever it was, it's gone.
Right.
So why should I continue to carry it moving forward? So after 20 minutes, if I'm still like thinking about that, then I need to do something to kind of like take my mind off of that, because no, it's not worth it.
That's a good interpretation. That's pretty much the interpretation to simplify it a little bit. Like if I say F whoever, that is my impure thought. And I think I'm saying F this person, but really that's me pulling the F you towards me. Like I think I'm doing something to you, or saying F this person, or I hope this person doesn't succeed, or I never say that, but I'm saying if I have those impure thoughts or acts, whatever I'm doing, I just know I'm not doing anything to anybody. I'm just drawing it to me. It's the will that the ox draws. It's coming to me. Like I think I'm doing it to you, but really every time I'm doing it, it's just following me.
So another thing that one of my that same teacher kind of like taught and instilled, and he would kind of like, you know, reiterate a lot, is that energy is neither good or bad. It's just for usage.
Mm-hmm.
So even us getting into like the semantics of language and words and all that other stuff, right? What truly is an impure thought? I'm really just thinking about that. Like, who says that it's an impure thought?
I love that you brought that up. Everything you said is great, because it is not about good or bad. So it's be good and good things will happen. Be bad and bad things will happen. But even in saying that, what's to say what's good and what to say what's bad? So it's really, your energy is going to be your energy. So whatever you want your energy to be, know that that's following your ass.
That's
good
it.
Or bad. Whatever your interpretation of
Yes.
good or bad is, that energy you're putting out, it's coming, it's following you.
Yes.
So another quote that I heard a long time ago, I think it's like Buddha or something, but it's like, if you're angry at someone and you want to like do something to them, it's like holding hot coal in your hand and thinking you're gonna throw it at them, not realizing the hot coal is burning your own hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you even be able to throw it at them? Like, soon as that,
Right.
you react, you're gonna probably just drop it. You throwing quotes out there. I don't have one of my favorite quotes. I don't even know where it came from, but I believe it was like an African proverb that says something along the lines of, "Don't curse God that He made the lion, but thank God that it doesn't have wings."
Say it one more time.
bruh. I said, when I first heard that, I said, "Yo, could you imagine that?" So the quote that I heard, or the proverb, was, "Don't curse God for making the lion, but thank God that it doesn't have wings."
All right, here's one I heard. Now we playing volleyball, and it's just in the same park, but it was an African proverb, and it goes, "When life gives you severe beatings to the face, smile and act like a fat man." No, it said, when life gives you severe beatings to the face to make your face swollen, just smile and act like a fat man.
Wow. That, to me, that brings up that whole idea that we were talking about with
Falling
somebody.
down? Oh.
No, well, that, yes, exactly. Brings that, like that person coming in and disrespecting you in that moment. Like,
Right.
you smile at that. So that is the energy that I just feel that, you know, those individuals that, you know, went through the civil rights and just through years of just being peaceful and living and just exemplifying peace. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling y'all, I'm not that 100%.
Not yet. We're trying to get there.
But even when a situation comes up, I'm not letting go of the concept of I keep a peace
Right.
for peace.
Right.
So that devil, if you want to do the angel devil, oh, I'm like my cousin said, I'm the angel with horns. I have the halo,
Right.
and I have the horns.
Right.
But we don't take the horns out.
Right.
There's no need for it. But when it comes out, you brought that on yourself.
Facts on facts on facts on facts.
So that's how I kind of like maneuvered through life, not to kind of like say like I can go out and just destroy and beat everyone. It's not that. It's just I don't have that same level of fear, whether in movies and scary things and spirit or whatever the case. I have more of a respect for everything.
Right.
So maybe I don't fear that lion, but I respect it enough to stay out of his way.
I like it. I like it.
But I will fight a lion
Facts.
with a pin and go right for the eyes.
Be scared for the bear, not me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think I kind of ran through my questions, but I before I go, or no, there's a few random like cool questions I'll say off the top of my head. But is there anything you want to let the people know about anything about V2G multimedia, teaching, parenting, MCing, touring, just anything that for right now you want people to know?
I mean, they can go to the websites, and I'm saying sites because this is just a little thing that maybe over the years, right, Lord, just all right, we used to give out business cards and give out CDs like throughout the years. And I was looking at one of my older like flyer designs or something, and I was looking at Venomous2000.com. I had been using that for like so long. It's always been one of the domain names. And I said, why would I get rid of that? When I have records, CDs, flyers, maybe some posters where people out in the world, or maybe one day it might pull, they may just, come across it in a thrift store, like a record shop.
Right.
I said, I'm gonna keep that domain name. And all I'm gonna do is just have my V2G multimedia have an extension somewhere where someone goes and types in Venomous2000.com, it brings them to me still.
Right.
The same thing with the V2G photography stuff that I have. So I have those domain names, and then I have the V2G multimedia. But my company is I'm setting it up because right now I'm still technically I'm like you, bro, one-man show. But I don't think people realize like what that really truly means.
They don't.
And to also be a full-time teacher, worker, educator that do after-school programs, that do Saturday programs, that run clubs.
They don't understand.
And then still trying to grow food, and then doing the videos, and then doing music, and then working on my clothing company, and then doing the toy photography.
They don't understand.
And all of the other things, right? It's a lot.
They don't understand. I'm here to tell you they don't.
So I was listening to Wallow. He was building, yesterday at the Roots event that I went to. And he said, y'all need a team. Y'all need to put together a team to do this. This is not a one-person journey. You need a team.
I wish I had a team.
And that team that you form,
universe, send me a team.
Universe, send us a team.
Send us a team.
So the universe might be like, y'all already the team and don't even see it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So he was breaking that down, even to the point where he said, yes, my accountant is being watched by my other accountant. So look, he said that to the audience, and I heard that. I said, oh, that's how deep it is in this? You need an accountant to watch your other accountant. Because just think about the money and the connections and the different things that he's dealing with at that level. But from all of that, I got what he was saying. Like, listen, y'all, you have it. All of you in this room have it because it's all accessible. I'm doing this. Look at my circumstances. Look at what I went through. But in order to do it, you have to be that dog. You got to be that dog. And he explained it using this analogy. You know that dog on the block that it don't matter who walks by. It doesn't matter if it's the summer, if it's a snow, if it's raining, whatever. that dog is always running up to that gate barking. You got to have that dog energy in this, where there's nothing that is going to stop you. But you have to be aware enough, alert enough, smart enough, savvy enough, social enough to like pull in people that also have that dog in them. And that's how you build your team. So I'm saying, I know you were talking about V2G Multimedia. So I would say this, look, go check out the music. Go check out some of the things I'm doing. Like, you know, my website basically breaks down all of the services that I provide, from photography to videography to doing the digital bios, which is that's going really, really well with the biosphere.
Wait, talk about that a lot, because that's just, I need, you know.
Yeah, I know. We didn't even talk about that aspect of things, but yeah, the digital bios, man. I kind of got the idea. I was on tour one time, and my man Architechnique, he put together a flyer for me, right?
I love his name.
Yeah, Architechnique, that's his name, and we share birthdays too, yo. This is the B-boy / DJ / MC that he reached out to me. Maybe, I don't even know, but this was before 2000, maybe like 2014. And he bought a couple of my albums, right? So in speaking to him, you know, the language barrier was a little difficult at first, but he speaks English well. So he ended up basically saying, like, you know, we share birthdays, then we talk, and then I was like, yo, if I wanted to get back out in Europe or to Europe or whatever, because I hadn't been there since 2012, I was like, yo, you think you would be willing to like assist and like help me out? He just bought like 6 of my albums. Like, yo, he was like, yeah, I think I could do something. And from that, we ended up putting together a tour.
Right.
And then we did it again. And then we did it again. And I told him, I said, yo, you have the drive and the connection because of the language and you being out here in Europe. Yo, you can do this for other artists. If you did it for me, I'm telling you, you got the talent to do this for other people. And he ended up doing some other tours, like with other artists. And I'm like, got my man Napoleon. Shout out to Napoleon the legend. He got Napoleon a little tour, and some other artists. And now he's back to doing music himself and touring with his partner.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I forgot where I was going with it, but you asked me a question.
The bio.
So the biospheres,
Yeah.
right? So he put together this flyer. It was a 1-pager bio, right? And at that time, I hadn't seen anyone with like a PDF with like all the links and all the other stuff. I just didn't know like really how to do it. Like, oh, this is dope. And I would send it to people. They'd be like, oh, I like this and everything. I'm like, all right, cool. Then now I say, yo, how could I freak this but make it like more interactive? Make it where somebody goes to your personal page and they're flipping through that like, yo, nobody has anything like that they're putting out.
Right.
So I was like, yo, how can I do that and then also tie it to what I'm trying to create on my new Instagram, the Infinity Cosmic. Is basically like anything that I imagine, whoever I imagine, whatever I want them to be involved in, I can pull them in and morph them into my own creation, like the comic books that we read about.
Right.
So instead of individuals reading about the Incredible Hulk, they're reading about the invincible Cymarshall Law.
Right.
And just kind of like create just some fun stuff where it can turn into some, you know, cartoon, toys, fun, but still have the substance and the principles that you drop in your music there as well. But it's just another way to kind of present you to the world. Right. But it's still you. So it's so funny because I've done like maybe about 12, 13 of them. But I noticed one that I hooked up for someone, and they, you know, at first they liked it, but then I saw them kind of like pull it down from their Instagram page, and I'm just looking at it like I was almost offended by it, but then I just said like, yo, maybe it wasn't for them. It's okay for some people not to see your vision.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. So anyhow, that biosphere thing, I still want to kind of like beef it up some more and do some more things, but it's difficult because it's time consuming.
Right.
To make those, but I've gotten a lot of really good responses from them.
I love the one you did for me.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Like, listen, I hope it draws 1 million fans to you, man. And like, they can go there, they could download it, they could read about you, they could click and go see your music, they could watch a video. Like,
I like the way that sounds.
you could just do that in one place. Plus, it also has the option, so to speak, like where you can have that video of it online. But then you can also download the PDF,
right,
where it's a physical bio that you can print out as well too.
Right.
So it's like the best of both worlds.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I love it.
There's a bunch of other things that I have here, man. That if you look here, bro, I got like notebooks that I just kind of like I write in, like numbers, thoughts, ideas, plans, activities. This nonprofit organization that I'm in the works of starting up. So I'm trying to do some next level stuff. Plus that play thing that we were talking about. Like, I want to do some real grown up shit now.
Yeah.
And the one thing, I don't want to say holding me back, but it's the one thing that is still in need of tweaking is time for myself that I work on me must outweigh the time that I spend in providing at someone else's business or situation. I want to generate more within my home, within my realm, within myself than I do there.
Yeah.
And be compensated for it, because there's nowhere. I'm still waiting for someone to send me the literature that basically talks about if you're going to be a peaceful warrior, if you're going to be a conscious person in life, that you have to be broke.
Right.
No disrespect to people who believe that or choose that, I'll say. But nah, I've already been enough. I've been around enough poverty and situations and seeing how not controlling finances and wealth and building that up, how it destroys communities and destroys people. And I'm no longer willing to accept that is going to be my destiny in the second phase of my life and my children's life.
Absolutely not. I'm here to make millions.
Absolutely. And then with that, I'm going to help other people do the same.
Immediately.
Yes.
That's not something I would have said 20 years ago. I would have said,
I'm taking it, I'm ghost.
No, I would have said clearly to you, and I have a song called Believe This, where the hook is, I don't do this for no money. I do this for the love. And you know what? That's not who I am anymore.
All right. Can I say this?
Yeah.
I know you asked about me giving to the people, but we're just talking, bro. And all of these connections are coming up. The other day I was just talking to my brother and I said, yo, I got played out. We all got played out. And he was like, what you mean? I said, yo, we were going around rhyming and putting out to the universe in song form for countless hours, all day. Like, that's how much I was doing music in like high school. I was writing, but I was doing more writing in high school in my music and song. I wasn't even thinking about those books. And the same thing in the first 2 years of college. But the idea and the thinking was exactly what you said, yo. I do this for the love, not for the money, not for the money. So guess what the money kept doing?
Right. I'm here to clearly tell the universe I'm not that person anymore.
Listen, even when those songs come out, my bad, I'm putting the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And putting the tourniquet on that thing and just stopping all of it, because I feel like, yo, I think that was like a systematic thing. Not even saying it was intentional, but it was a systematic thing that kind of just kept people at this level.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying, look, we're not trying to get that money. It's all good. Like, people who doing that, you're not hip hop and all these other things. But I'm like, yo, what if because that's like my favorite comic book series. What if there was a story told where we created, maybe we could do something like this. What if during the underground scene, like during the I can't even think of the LP and them the label
Def Jux?
Just Def Jux, right? The definitive Jux like era and all that other stuff, and even before that, what if we all were like actually really conducting business like we're doing now, and making sure our paperwork and all of those other things are together.
Right.
I was thinking about a Black Thought line, and we're gonna talk about this afterwards. But Lord, I'm gonna put something out there, bro. I've collected money from distro and streams and all of this other stuff. I was building with my man Cafino. You know Cafino. Shout out to Cafino, yo. I said I've never collected a royalty check. I've done something wrong.
You're wildin'.
I've done something wrong. All of this time. I'll admit it. I know I've done something wrong. Big time. But I have music up there, but why isn't it? There's something that I did wrong.
Yeah, I can help you with that. Not here to say like I'm getting big ass checks, but ASCAP deposits money in my bank every few months.
I've gotten 0.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that.
And so with me now being at a point where I'll gladly say like, yo, I still make mistakes. I'm attempting I'm open enough to learn from my mistakes, because yes, I know there's money that I'm trying to trap.
Yeah.
I know there are blessings that I'm still, I'm allowing to like slip through the cracks, but I'm willing to do the work to patch them up. But the only way you can do that is by first admitting,
being honest.
So I've never collected a check. I went up there into the account and looked at some things. Like I hadn't even heard of like Sound Exchange and Song Trust and all of these things, because it was just, hey, ASCAP, BMI. And that was it.
Yeah.
But never necessarily had anyone that sat down and took care of the paperwork. My point being is that I feel like there was a disservice done, because if I know how to do this and how to get paid from it, I'm going to tell this dude about it because you my man.
Right.
I'm going to tell you about it because you my man too.
Right.
I never received that.
Right.
I don't. Maybe you had, because maybe you tell me if I'm wrong or not, but your brother had a little situation, so maybe he was able to guide you through it.
No. Shout out to Skit. No, he didn't. But
yeah, shout out to Skit Slam. That's my man.
No. That when you were saying everything you do, and I kept saying no, they don't understand. A lot of the things I do and how much I do and how hard I work, no one, I don't want to say ever, but a majority of the time, nobody gave me the look. I literally had to use my brain and heart to figure it out. I had people tell me no, shut the door in my face, lie to me, steal from me. The amount, like the shit y'all be seeing me do, there's a whole story y'all don't know about. So when people come for me for anything about what I'm doing, I'm like, these motherfuckers have no idea. Like, we're having this conversation.
The audacity.
It's the audacity. Like, we're having this conversation and doing this thing, but everything I've been able to do, oh my, like, y'all have no, like, everything that I'm doing, I literally, I should bring one of my kids in here right now. The amount of time they've caught me sitting behind the computer with a book open trying to figure out and study on my own. It could be YouTube, whatever you have. I'm here to tell y'all, I know for a fact, y'all, the shit I'm doing, y'all don't know what I'm doing to put it out.
I'll say this. I recognize it. And the reason I recognize it is because I'm building my content, right? And my other streams of this is a service, bruh. You know, giving people a platform to come speak. And this is a service that you're providing for people. It's a platform.
Right.
So this is one of the things I built with ID and John Robinson, which we were going to do something like this. But, you know, it didn't manifest. But the point being is that, look, if you're doing your own designs, if you're doing your own editing, if you're doing your filming, if you're doing your writing, if you're doing your business, like the legal stuff, if you're booking your shows, like those are all jobs.
Yo, I'm over here wilding.
Yes. So what I'm saying, I'm doing the same, but you are absolutely in a different position where you are putting in more time. That's why I told you.
But listen, I'm
trying
getting
to get that time so I can do the same on a regular basis.
So two things. Remember the word time. So the first thing is, and I'm dealing with a lot of entitled energies that I have to now
entitled energies.
Yo, that I have to call it that. And I was getting irritated or annoyed at that because it was, I'm not here to kick no one down, but I just felt and I could see that who I am and what I've done and where I'm going and what I'm doing. It's really the way y'all are acting. It's like you have no idea. Like you highly entitled, and everything I'm trying to like give, and the energy I'm getting back. I'm like, oh, y'all don't realize what everything that I've built and how hard. Like you don't know, because there's no way you would be giving me that energy.
So to that point, and to go back, which in V2G Photography or on the website, you'll see that the service I provide is also assisting in consultations for people who are attempting to either get into hydroponics or to grow their own food or garden or whatever the case. Look, some people say I don't have a green thumb. Look, anybody, if you can pick the seed up, you could put it in the ground. So that means you could grow food too. But it made me think about what I was doing around my house, where I converted the front yard, killed all the grass by, putting the mulch down for about a year or so, because I did some research, looked and said, yo, look, any ground, if you give it, or any soil, grass, whatever's growing there, weeds, whatever, if you give it enough time, if you give it enough darkness, if you give it enough, you block the sunlight, you kill the grass. And nature is going to do what nature do. Is just going to form and morph into something else. If those plants can't reach out of it, they're not going to grow, but that soil is going to improve. It's like the whole, I'm assuming, the slash and burn techniques that they used to use in agriculture, where they would, do that and then let all the ash and all that other stuff and then give the plots time to rejuvenate.
Right.
So when I killed the grass, I let it rejuvenate for 2 years, and I said, I'm going to be growing food right here. So now I got 2 apple trees. I had grapes, but those spotted lanternflies, whatever those bugs are, is all I'm going to say. Whatever they are, destroyed the grapes, so I cut those down. But I had cucumbers and everything just literally in the front of my yard, just pulling it and give it to my neighbors. Here you go, just growing there. So I said, if I could do that there, I'm growing this stuff in the back. I got it on the side of my house. I'm trying to do hydroponics. You were putting your fingers up, counting. That's 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 5 jobs. That's why neighbors and other people saying, this isn't a one-man job. That's why Wallow's saying, this isn't a one-man's job. If the team is set up, everybody's eating. That's why I look up to the Wu-Tang. Regardless of who your favorite, whatever. Look, the team mentality. The team mentality is what you need. You need to remain your individual self, but just understand that everybody else needs to remain their individual self or selves, but we can work together, and you need to work together. This is not to ever, it's not designed to be done alone.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. But I can't say I always knew that, but I always wanted a team. Like I used to envision me walking into a show with like 10 people behind me and we all had the same t-shirt on. That's never happened.
The show. Boom!
I always wanted that. Like, but it was like cats was doing other things, whether it was college or they had regular jobs. But and you know what stings me is that Pumpkinhead dying, because after he died, it was just very clear to me that we had the same energy and wanted the same things. And I'm like, even though we were boys, like we could have done even more together if I just would have realized, like, damn, like, because you need people who have the same thing as you.
Yo, you wanna know what's wild? You brought up Pumpkinhead again, and you know, when that was one of Phenom's like favorite MCs and stuff, because when we used to hear his joint on Stretch and Bobito, dude was ill.
Yeah.
So when I found out that you and him had the group thing going, and then y'all invited me on that project, I said, yo, I'm doing a song with Pumpkinhead. Yo, real talk. I was like, holy crap. And it was genuine. That was my man. I remember I ran into him at a show in it was in Clifton at this spot called Dingbats or something like that. So we're in there and I see him. He's like, yo, what up, V? Yo, we're chilling shit. And he like, yo, you know, fuck, I don't see you anywhere, bro. Like, you too nice. You need to be out more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, nah, yo, you need to be out more. That's that dog mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that grind that he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't put yourself out there, that one person, because all it takes is one person. Not saying you're looking for that cosign, but that one person that may be able to just give you that additional blessing by taking this and just putting that on the table of the right person.
Right.
They'll never know you exist if you don't walk into that room, if you don't show up, if you don't go to that gate barking. Not saying bro, we're at the point, Law, with you doing this right here, you don't have to knock on anybody's door. The door is already open.
Yeah.
We just need to walk in it together and pull each other in. That's all. The door's open.
So yeah, I've been as of late hard praying and meditating and saying thank you to the universe for sending me the support and people I need right now. And I know they're coming. They might be already here, as you said. So just giving me the eyes to see them as well.
And also one of the things that I'm now consciously removing from my thought in my mind is I'm tired.
Right. I'm energetic, baby.
I'm energy. Energy does not get tired like that. Yes, I know my body needs to rest and all of these other things. But some days, hey, look, you might have to just sip on some ginseng. Get that boost and you'll be fine.
Yep.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
We will be fine. This is I feel within my being, I came here to be of service, to work, to be prosperous, to live in peace. And when I leave this planet, my prayer is I want to leave around the people that I love and tell them I'm going nowhere. I'll see you soon. Peace. I'm out, and go to sleep.
Right. I love it. I love it. So I had asked you to remember the word time. So just to hop back to time. So, and honesty as well. And I preach this to my children all the time. When I'm a network engineer by career. I had to, stop everything I was doing a long time ago and go to school to become a network engineer. And I had this teacher at the time. And I remember him saying to me, or saying to the class, he was like, yo, it's just all about time. Everyone acts like they don't have enough time to do study, they act like they don't have time in general. But if you look at your day and look at all the small things you spend your time on that don't need your time, if you condense those, you're going to have enough time. So whether we binge watching something on Netflix or just arguing with someone online, just there's a multitude of things that we don't have to do. So when y'all see me doing a lot of things, it's not that they're not time consuming. I'm just using my time really well. Like
listen, I'm glad you brought that up. Not to cut you off, because I found a secret. You probably found it too.
What's that?
The secret is time seems to move slowly in darkness and when no one else is awake. So I find that when I go to sleep, early. And for us, hip hop heads, going to bed at 10 o'clock, bro, that's dumb early. Just over the years of staying out to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So if I go to sleep at 10 and I don't have to be to work until 8, but I have to leave out my house by 7:10, 7:15. If I wake up at 4 in the morning, everybody sleep. I got 2 hours to give back to myself and do whatever.
That is a jewel. That is a jewel.
And that's where I've been spending a lot of my time, just on the front end.
I can't say that's something I found out because luckily I'm that morning person that other unmorning people don't like. Like I'm consistently up early as shit. I can't even help it. No alarm clock.
You making all the noise, like, don't be doing like that kind of stuff. Like people, because you're up and you're doing things, it disrupts other people. Or
no, it means I'm up early with a big ass smile on my face.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you're like me then, because I don't get bothered. Like even if I just get 3 hours, I'm like, oh, things need to get done, and I'm gone.
I'm up 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. To talk about secrets, my secret is I move as soon as I would say I do. I move as soon as the inspiration hits me, and I know procrastination is a tool of the devil. So was it last Saturday? No, it was Monday. This Monday, I woke up and I started moving crazy in the house, and my kids was looking at me crazy. And then I was about to leave the house, and I told them what I was about to do. But I was just like, as soon as I woke up this morning, I had this urge and thought in my brain, and they all know how I am. But I'm that dog.
No, listen, I'm that dog in mine too. Yeah.
All right. So we've probably talked for like 2 hours. So I want to say a couple words.
Yeah, go ahead, man. A couple words, you said?
Yeah, just say.
Oh yeah, I know this portion.
Say the first thing that comes to your mind. Usually I have these words written down, but today I don't. So I'm just gonna say kind of things that pop into my head. All right, are you ready? The flower of life.
Smells pure.
Black hole sun.
Say that one more time.
Black hole sun.
Black Thor.
CERN particle collider.
Spider-Man.
Antarctica.
Hollow Earth.
Elohim.
Me.
Apple TV.
Turn it off.
Elon Musk.
We'll be eating dinner soon together.
Biden.
Puppet.
Button.
Flower.
Love.
Life.
Shepherd.
Leader.
I love it. We're going to end like that.
That was dope.
My name is Cymarshall Law. This is Venomous2000. Yo, thank you for coming through, V.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. That's all I can say, Law. I appreciate you, bro.
Yo, anything the people should look forward to in the next couple months?
Yo, listen, I do have some music that's kind of like coming out soon. Burning Soul Records. Shout out to my man DJ Tron. We got another 45 that we got dropping hopefully at the end of the year. That's like my new thing, man. I got a passion and love for the 45. So in the next couple of years, I got another DJ out in Russia that I'm supposed to be doing this 45 with. But I got that. I wrote a whole album with my man Thad Ross. I'm trying to bridge. I got you in mind for a joint.
I was just about to say,
can we manifest? Can we say what I was? Do you want me to say what I was thinking or leave it a secret? Like as far as the project, I'm gonna leave it a secret. We'll talk about that off.
I'm gonna press you on the interview right now. I've been pressing V to let me get on one of his projects for like a year now, and I never used to have to press V. He would just send them.
You want to know? I kind of slowed down with doing music. Number one. But the last couple of albums have been albums that, like, they were already kind of like in my mind to like get done. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to reach out to you. But I do have this, even before you asked, I had your name written down, Silent Night's name written down as someone else. If these connections either didn't come together, then it would be you two. And it was only because it was these up here. But I said, wait a minute. Nah, we're going to try to get all of us on this joint together. So we'll talk about it, what the vision is or whatever. And we'll just say that yesterday may have been the first stepping stone to bring that into fruition.
Bet. I love it. I think that V and I are going to have a good rest of our day after this. I know it because V, I've been doing more praying and meditating and letting go than ever before. So when things happen to me, anything, especially like someone calling me or a text or anything specifically, I'm very in tune that the universe sent me this. Like I'm not confused about what's going on right now. There's no way I've been putting out the energy I've been putting out, and now you're sitting across from me, and I'm not about to figure out why exactly.
Yo, listen, originally, I'll be 100 with you. You know, when you had asked me the first time, I was like, yeah, I got to get on Law Show. But I said, but I don't have, listen to my thinking, I don't have anything to offer because I don't have a new album out. Mm-hmm. And I told you that, like, I want to do it when I got a project, like the time is right. It's like one of the new things that I've been coming into accepting in Rasujima, shout out to Rasujima. Rasujima, basically, yeah, absolutely. You got to give Rasujima a shout out for sure. So Ross said we were at an event, right, and we were in Newark, and we were watching Blitz the Ambassador, and then Napoleon. I think it was one of the Caribbean festivals. So we were up there just kind of like chilling, and he asked me like, "Yo, V, you want a juice? A fresh juice over here?" And I was like, yeah, but you don't have to buy me. He said, listen, if I want to buy you a goddamn drink, I'm going to give you a drink. I'm a grown ass man. I could give you the gifts that I want to. Right? Listen, he said that not disrespectfully, but in that moment, I said, yo, why would I turn away a blessing? He wants to give me something. Why would I say, no, it's okay? This passive mentality, no, I don't want it. Like, no. And he said that. I took that juice, I drank that shit, right? Uh-huh. It felt good. But after that, I've been applying that principle.
Yo, so I'm not to cut you off, but today you text me. You was like, yo, we can get some grub and the grub's on me. And that's something that I do to people as much as I can. And then my first instinct was, not first instinct, but the thought ran across my brain is, you know, I don't need to take that from V because, you know, I can feed myself. But then right away, and I'm so glad I'm this mature or I've been through this, my thought was, he offered that. I'm not about to take away V's blessing. Like he's trying to bless me. However, I'm smart enough to know if I don't allow him to bless me, I'm taking away his blessing.
Because the gift.
Right.
This kind of like so crazy. We were supposed to end this show a bunch of times. But yo, this ties into a whole conversation about how relationships work.
Right.
And how the expectation that a person has, right? Where that person, okay, you're expecting that, but the way that I'm giving it to you, my intentions are to purely give you this thing.
Right.
And provide this to you. But because it's not packaged the way that you feel it's supposed to be packaged,
right,
you don't accept it.
Right.
Which then puts into your mind that there's no way that person can love me the way that I feel I should be loved because they would give me this exact thing that I'm asking for.
Right. Right.
I look at that as that gift and that blessing in that same kind of like vein is what I was talking about with Rasujima. What you just basically said, that you had that same thought pop in your head when I said, yo, bro, this is on, but my brother is a prime example. Like, wherever we go, we get food, I got money on me, whatever. He'd be like, nah, don't worry about it. I used to be like, nah, bro, you ain't have to. But now I'd be like, oh, thanks. He big brother.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do.
Right.
He a grown man. He don't
Right.
need my money. Him giving me the gift is not going to take away anything from him.
Right.
And in that time, guess what? Dude hit the picket, got this money, we went to the store to go buy some Transformers. I swear, yo. He picked it up. I was like, dang, he about to get this $55 joint after doing this. Boom, 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 boom. We paid for the stuff, leave out, drive off. He looking like, oh shit. The girl didn't even ring up the $55 toy.
Yeah.
I said, this money, when you allow the money, the gifts, the blessings, the thoughts, just let it flow and do what
It's
it
crazy.
do.
See, our conversations
It's just going to do
be
this.
top tier.
It's gonna come back. I hope somebody listen.
the same thing happened with me and my kid the other day. Someone gave me something for free, and as we were driving away, I was telling my kid that shit didn't happen by accident. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about.
So, with all of this stuff that I said, listen, my intentions are always to do the best that I can, right? To give what I can, to provide, to help people out, but also to protect myself too. So I just listen. If there's anything that I've been able to say to provide, if somebody listens to it, the one thing that I would say to your listeners is that I pray that whatever that thing is can bring you all of the blessings that you've dreamt of, that you've written down, that you've thought of, that you feel entitled to, that you feel you've been kept away from. I hope it leads you right to it. And it comes back 1,000 million fold after that, yo. That's what I really hope for your listeners.
Word. You know what? We're going to end on that note. I love it. Yo, my name is Cymarshall Law. He's Venomous2000. We love y'all. Peace, love, and positive energy.
Peace, y'all.
And we out like that. 1.